Hello and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Abha Bukai. Here are the day's top business stories. Markets fall as investors shy away from commitments ahead of U.S. inflation figures. Nifty down 129 points. Sensex falls 420. All sectors in the red. Aurobindo Pharma Scion, P. Sarachandra Reddy arrested by Enforcement Directorate, made a suspect in the politically explosive Delhi liquor scam. Stock plunges nearly 12% on the news. Nykaa's parent company, FS&E e-commerce, zooms more than 5% even as the lock-in period of its anchor investors ends. Announcement of a 1:5 bonus does the trick. Maruti prepares for the big market fight, veers towards SUVs to capture share, confirms to Business Today TV that it will launch a new SUV by March. Elon Musk ends remote work in his first email to Twitter staff, warns them to be ready for difficult times ahead as he himself comes under the scanner for his overseas relationship. Earlier, a blue verification tick meant that the social media giant verified a user's identity. It stood for authentication and reliability. But now it simply means whoever can pay can get the blue tick. Here's the story of how Elon Musk's charging for the blue seems to have given the blues to the very concept.
On Wednesday, Elon Musk Twitter launched its most criticized feature yet, the new and revamped Twitter Blue Tick subscription that now costs $8 and provides Blue Tick verification to users. Shortly after the feature was rolled out, Twitterati started testing it out. Fake accounts of former US President Donald Trump, who is banned from the social media platform for life, emerged with a blue tick next to it. The account seemed believable as it was verified, but it wasn't the real Donald Trump. That account was taken down after a couple of hours. Other verified accounts that emerged included gaming character Super Mario, Lakers player LeBron James, and even Jesus Christ. All of these accounts had similarities. Firstly, they all had verified blue tick, they were all fake, and lastly, they were all suspended in a couple of hours except for Jesus Christ account. But the emergence of these accounts indicated the flaws of Twitter's new feature. The time during which the accounts remained operational led most users to believe it to be real. A Twitter user shared a screenshot of his post being liked by an account named Donald Trump that had a verification check mark. Another user shared a screenshot of a tweet by the account named LeBron James. It had a check mark too, but a minute difference between the real account of James and this impersonator was the spelling of his username that ended the last name with a Z. These accounts were brought in notice of Musk on Twitter. A user wrote, "The beauty of this is each account that gets verified paid $8. Twitter keeps the money and suspends the account." Musk replied to the tweet with money emojis indicating that he is rather proud of it and doesn't consider it to be a major issue. Meanwhile, Twitter has killed the double verification feature shortly after launching it with the Blue subscription. The double verification provided an official badge under the user's name and was for users who worked with the government or were extremely famous. In India, the official badge had appeared on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's account for a couple of hours before it was taken down. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
Aurobindo Pharma plunged nearly 12% in trade today. This after its executive director, Sarachandra Reddy, was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. Sarath is the son of promoter P. Ramprasad Reddy. The company said it's ascertaining details and will make disclosures as appropriate. Sarath was arrested by the probe agency allegedly in connection with the Delhi liquor excise policy scam. He's part of the promoter group and on the board of over 10 subsidiaries of Aurobindo Pharma. According to sources, ED suspects that some investments made by his company Trident Life Sciences are linked to the persons involved in the liquor scam. Reddy was questioned by the probe agency in the same case in September. Meanwhile, the agency has also arrested Benoy Babu, an employee of liquor company Pernod Ricard, in connection with the case, according to media reports. My colleague Karishma Sadani joining us for more on this. Karishma, talk us through what this really means. Are there any loopholes? How serious are these implications? And, we saw the stock literally nosedive in trade today.
Absolutely, Abha. Let's, get to the broader picture and try and understand, because you also have mentioned that the stock has plunged close to almost 14% since morning. Now, if you look at the broader perspective, this is coming from the lead that Central Bureau of Investigation had put in relation to the whole liquor scam, where also Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia, was involved. In fact, the FIR was taken forward by Enforcement Directorate, and this is not the first arrest that they're doing. In fact, in past few months, they have been suspecting major money laundering activities under the PMLA when it comes to the liquor trade deal in Delhi, where also, of course, Sarat has been arrested for. Now, the process goes further, where, of course, Enforcement Directorate will be further investigating it. I'm also being told from sources that there could be likely that SFIO could also be involved through Ministry of Corporate Affairs, because we know that the company is listed. However, the company on its has today updated on the market and on the BSE that the particular person arrested is nowhere in connection related to the company as of now.
All right, Karishma, thanks for taking us through that. Weakness in global equities ahead of the U.S. retail inflation data for October and rise in the dollar dragging D Street lower, with investors taking profits in stocks that had outperformed recently. Sentiment around the globe also took a hit due to a rout in the cryptocurrency market, while U.S. election results also caused some disappointment. A divided government was seen positive for global markets, as it would rein in government spending and so helping inflation to ease off. The Sensex was down 400 points and the Nifty also was down over 100 points. Some of the key losers in trade will actually go ahead and take a closer look at those, because almost 39 stocks closed in the red. Tata Motors, Axis Bank, Bajaj Finserv, M&M and Titan, to name a few. It's a finance master act worthy of a management school case study. A full chapter on how Nykaa's charismatic boss lady turned a major threat into a fantastic opportunity.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1! It was exactly a year ago that FSN E-Commerce, the parent company of Nykaa, was listing on stock exchanges. It was a grand affair attended by Bollywood stars. The blockbuster listing turned Falguni Nayar into a billionaire overnight and made her the country's richest self-made woman. Investors had a dream run with the stock skyrocketing on listing, touching a high of 2,574 rupees in just 16 days of listing. However, 2022 brought a reality check, with the stock mirroring global uncertainties and touching a low of 976 on 28th October. Analysts have been holding their breath, waiting for yet another plunge when the year-long lock-in period ended on 10th November. After all, anchor investors with nearly 67% of the total stake, amounting to 310 million shares, would be released from lock-in, and it would be the first time they would be allowed to sell their shares. But come Thursday, there was no plunge the doomsayers had predicted, all thanks to a brilliant play by the company chairperson, Falguni Nayar. The investment banker turned entrepreneur preempted the expected sell-off by announcing a bonus issue, giving 5 additional shares to all stakeholders for the 1 share they held. The Masterstroke set the record date for this transaction just a day after the lock-in period ended, that is, on 11th November. This meant shareholders had to hold Nykaa shares on the 11th to be eligible for the bonus issue. While this was the Masterstroke number 1, this also ensured the second Masterstroke. The bonus shares will be credited to beneficiary accounts only after a few days, making it impossible for the shares to be sold. And thirdly, even if the shares were sold today, it would amount to just 1/6 of the total shares being sold. With the share price already adjusted today for the bonus issue, the 310 million shares, if sold today, will be only at 1/6 of the original value. By doing this, Nykaa has ensured that the near 1.5 billion shares freed from lock-in today will only be available for sale in a month or so. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.
It's not only FSN e-commerce, but 9 companies which had their anchor investor lock-in ending this month. Campus Activewear and Rainbow Children's Medicare saw their lock-ins end last week, while Campus saw its stock fall 9.5%. Rainbow has risen 2.8% since then. 3 companies had their lock-ins end today, while the shares of PB Fintech and SJS Enterprises fell. FSN e-commerce saw a rise of 6.5% thanks to its bonus issue announcement. Next week, we'll see the lock-in periods of Paytm, Sapphire Foods and Delivery also end. Meanwhile, my colleague Sakshi Patra spoke with Yashish Dahiya and Alok Bansal, the founders of PB Fintech, about its financials and growth plans going ahead. Listen in.
Mr. Dahiya, if you could expound upon that itself, when you're talking about the offline business, what is the percentage of sales that is coming through that? Are you looking at expanding that going forward from here too?
See, if you think about it, 2019 to 2023 is roughly 4 years. In this 4 years, our revenue has increased 5.3 times, right? And 85% of 90% of the revenue is coming from the online business alone. We do have new initiatives which are getting some revenue. They are there. If I look at the next 4 years, perhaps our revenue will go up about 2.5 times, which is half of what it has done in the last 4 years. So we will still be at about 6,000 crores revenue. Now the big growth that we have longer term is going to come from health and life insurance alone, which is part of the core business. And that comes directly. I think in the new initiatives, we will have some growth. But at the end of it, our objective in the year 26-27 is to do roughly 35,000 crores of premium.
Okay.
That is a big chunk. Please appreciate today the entire life insurance industry, all of it put together outside of LIC, does about 35,000 crores of premium in fresh business. So it's a very large number.
Sure.
So you cannot be in only one channel and have that business. You will have to be an omni-channel player like everybody else and have that business.
Okay.
Sakshi, just to add to that,
sure.
If you look at the hybrid approach that we started last year, then that is a very, very big initiative in that sense, because see, a lot of customers who come to us, we need that hand-holding to select the right product and make the right decision by understanding the nuances of the product. Sometimes they would also want to understand if we are physically available in their city and we can talk to them in their local language.
Yes.
Now, having a physical presence, see, they have to come to us first. They are coming to the website. They are talking to the call center guys. But after that, if they want to have a physical face-to-face meeting, we have enabled that in few cities now, where the employee of Policybazaar actually goes to the house or the office of that customer and sits with them and take them through the journey. And, sort of provides more trust to the customer. It also helps them make a better decision, maybe because they are talking to the customer in the local language. And we are already seeing a delta of about 38-40% coming because of this hybrid approach. Now, this is part of the core business itself, and the cost is being taken care within the core business. And the contribution number that we mentioned, the 45% contribution number, incidentally, which has moved from 35% last year, is already taking care of this cost. Similarly, we are doing a lot of effort on the claim side, which is again part of the core business. We have got more than 300 people today in office who actually help customer navigate the claim process. To be honest, at the time of claim, customer is in distress and they don't really understand how to go to that. It's almost like a black box to them. And that is another cost, a big cost of 300 people team, which is getting absorbed within the core business. So, just wanted to clarify, a lot of the effort that we want to do on the core business, the cost will always be taken within the core business, and that will definitely aid the efficiency. It will help us go in terms of growth. Initiative is totally separate. When we talk of corporate or POSP, that has nothing to do with core business.
The central government is considering reforms to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code to give it more teeth. According to sources, these reforms are likely to be taken up in the winter session of Parliament in December. For more on this, we're joined by Business Today TV special correspondent Karishma Sadani. Karishma, what are these new proposals? And currently, the haircuts taken by banks are as high as 95%. Is that going to change?
Well, Abha, you're right. When it comes to data, that's a very big number. In fact, if you remember, it's the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Finance that's headed by Jayant Sinha, which also pointed out this in last year in the month of August 2021, that what is IBC doing and if it's actually justifying its purpose. So now, if we look at it, for past 1 year, the central government is trying to introduce the amendments to Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2022, for which my sources tell me that will likely be taken up in the winter session. Now, if that happens, then government is of course aiming in order to work on faster resolutions and to give more powers to the Committee of Creditors so that as less as haircut can be taken. In fact, they also plan to put a certain number of days in which the NCLT can either approve or reject the case, which of course will try and clean the whole process of delays. Besides this, the government is also particular about introducing cross-border insolvency, which has been pending on its agenda for quite some time because of the involvement of certain foreign creditors who are looking into the stressed assets belonging to India. So it's likely that these two amendments could be taken up in the winter session, and if that gets cleared, then before union budget we will have a new IBC process to look in, and a better and a much more faster one.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Karishma. Lots to watch out for. The government also exiting Axis Bank with an offer for sale of its remaining stake today and tomorrow. The specified undertaking of the Unit Trust of India, SUTI, which holds the residual 1.55% stake in the erstwhile UTI Bank, is selling it off at 830.63 rupees per share. The non-retail portion was fully subscribed today. The government has approved an order of nearly 27,000 crore rupees from BSNL to TCS for rolling out the telco's 4G network. The government-owned BSNL is likely to soon issue a purchase order for 1 lakh sites. Vistara has increased its flight operation from Delhi to Frankfurt and Paris. It will be operating 6 weekly flights starting today. The frequencies were increased after the airline successfully inducted a third Boeing 787 Dreamliner in its fleet. Maruti Suzuki is slowly upping its game in the red-hot SUV market. Having launched the Grand Vitara in September, the company is set to roll out another SUV by March 2023. In an exclusive conversation with Business Today TV, Maruti Suzuki's Shashank Srivastava started out by revealing why the company is still bullish on the CNG segment despite spiraling fuel costs.
Is Maruti betting big on CNG, and the company is trying to get more hold of the CNG market, considering also that even though the CNG prices are high. So what is your outlook on CNG and why this move being done for the next half?
Yeah, so CNG is a very, very environment friendly fuel. So it obviously helps us contribute to the for usage of of environment friendly fuel. At the same time, not just the environment friendliness of the fuel, but also the fact that the running cost of CNG still low compared, even after the increased CNG prices, still low compared with the diesel or the petrol. For a Wagoner, for example, the CNG running cost would be around 2.50 rupees per kilometer, as against almost 4.75 rupees for petrol and diesel. So I think it's from an economic point of view, running cost also, it makes sense to have CNG, and that's why we are seeing such a lot of interest in the CNG market. And in fact, this year, Maruti Suzuki will probably be selling 360 to 400,000 CNG vehicles. This compares very favorably with about 230,000 odd vehicles that we sold, 234,000 last year. So CNG is a good option, and we can see going forward. In fact, diesel vehicles have been coming down as a percentage of the total sales. And in fact, Chetan, you'll be surprised that from Maruti, for the vehicles where we have CNG, almost 35% sale is CNG. And on an overall portfolio, 20% of the Maruti Suzuki sales are CNG.
And is more SUV coming up in this financial year. Can we expect that in the January to March quarter?
Exact timing is difficult for me to reveal, but yes, you have only 5 months remaining, and therefore we would like to introduce these some of the SUVs quickly. And remember, Chetan, we had this long discussion last time that is also central to our regaining the market share, because in the non-SUV market, while our market share is upwards of 65%, it is because we have a smaller market share in SUV that brings down the overall market share to below 50%. So we would like to achieve that 50% number. That has been a stated objective, and SUVs form an important part of that strategy.
Shyam, last 2 questions. How is the sales for Grand Vitara going, and are you considering to ask the government on any tax breaks for strong hybrids? Because ultimately the government is offering some relief for EV. Strong hybrids also are a cleaner source of energy. So any comment on that?
Yeah, so the Grand Vitara has been doing quite well. We have so far got more than 76,000 bookings, and we have delivered almost 13,000 cars. So that's a pretty good beginning, I would say, even though there have been some constraints in terms of availability. But yes, hybrids are a very, very good option. Grand Vitara strong hybrid gives intelligent electric vehicle gives it almost 28 kilometers to the liter, and therefore very, very environment friendly. It runs on the EV mode in the urban cycle most of the time. So and it doesn't have that range anxiety or the charging infrastructure requirement. So I'm sure it's very, very good for the environment. And in that sense, I think it's logical that some support be given to the strong hybrids as far as taxation is concerned.
All right, that's where we leave it on the show tonight. Thanks so much for watching.